Right now at 4, our live drive for the community baby shower is underway right now. News 4 is partnering with United Way to help bring donations to moms and babies in need in Western New York. We'll tell you how you can help make an impact.
And we're tracking another round of spring snow showers out there this evening. Minor accumulations for just some of you, but don't worry, we've got some big-time improvements to talk about coming up in your 401 forecast.
Plus, an investigation into the deaths of a mother and her son in Orleans County. The puzzle that authorities in the town of Kendall are trying to piece together this afternoon.
The station with the most local news. This is News 4 at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave Graber. In your top 4 at 4 today, we're following a developing story in Lockport, where crews are on the scene of a deadly crash. It happened on Stone Road earlier today. We're told a car and a box truck collided head-on. The driver of the car was pronounced dead at the scene, while the driver of the box truck was taken to ECMC with unknown injuries. The road was closed for several hours. No other information is available now, but when we get it, we'll share it with you here on air and on our website, WIVB.com. Investigators in Orleans County want to know what killed a mother and her teenage son who were using a generator for power. Sheriff's deputies answered a call about a propane gas leak on Center Road in Kendall at about 7:30 last night. Firefighters found the 2 bodies in a bedroom. Police have identified the victims as 38-year-old Joan Gilman and her 14-year-old son, Richard Jr. The sheriff says a portable generator and propane appliances were being used. The electricity was turned off. This afternoon, their deaths are under investigation. Our Kelsey Anderson is following this investigation, and she'll bring us what neighbors had to say about the 2 coming up on News 4 at 5 o'clock. A Buffalo man will spend 1 year in the Erie County Jail after a crash last May that left 2 people seriously hurt. One of the victims is still in a long-term care facility after suffering a traumatic brain injury in that crash. Prosecutors say 33-year-old Marshawn Levy was driving drunk nearly twice the legal limit on Bailey Avenue when he crashed his car head-on into another car that had stopped to make a turn. Levy was facing up to 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to vehicular assault last month.
Mr. Levy had a few drinks, he drove much too quickly, and the consequences are lifelong for the family in this case. All we wanted today was to express our apologies and our true sympathy for what that family is going through today.
On top of the 1-year jail sentence, Levy will still have to pay a $1,000 fine. He'll also have to install an ignition interlock device in his vehicle if he ever gets his license back. 3 people ended up in the hospital after an early morning house fire on Buffalo's east side. Firefighters were called to Wood Avenue at about 1 o'clock this morning. 4 people made it out of the home and onto the front porch. The fire chief doesn't believe the victims have any serious injuries. The fire caused $70,000 in damage. Investigators still aren't sure how the fire started. Well, taking a look at our forecast as we take a peek over downtown Buffalo from high atop our tower cam. As you can see, a little shaky there this afternoon, but much like we've seen, Andrew, over the past several days, it is gloomy, it is gray, and there are even a few snow showers out there as well, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel.
There is. We're tracking some of those snow showers for this evening. It's mostly across the hills, south and east of the city. Here in the metro, I think we're fine for that evening commute. Any dinner plans? Might just see a few flurries from time to time, but it is a gloomy look at downtown Buffalo. Those clouds in place because of that disturbance moving through. Down at Holiday Valley, well, the slopes aren't open, at least here, the lift not running. But the snow is still falling. It's a pretty winter-like scene down across the southern tier. And there's a look at the snow spreading through western New York, mainly across the hills in southern Erie, Wyoming, Cattaraugus, and Allegheny counties, and some of those snow showers heading towards the Finger Lakes region. As we zoom out, though, you see what's heading our way from the west. What you don't see, high pressure. That's clearing those skies, bringing sunshine back to Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and where next? We're going to be seeing that arriving for tomorrow. Here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. Snow showers will continue mainly throughout this evening, and that's where we could see additional accumulations up to 1, maybe 2 inches through tonight. This activity should wind down pretty quickly after midnight and by tomorrow morning. Still a little bit cloudy for that morning drive into work, but we should be dry, and clouds will eventually break for increasing sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. That's just the start of some nice weather improvements ahead. So again, in terms of additional snowfall, not expecting anything to stick on the ground here in the city. Really just the higher elevations could see some additional coatings to maybe 1 inch or 2 at the most. Temperatures outside right now, 38 here in the city. We should be in the mid-upper 50s, so we're about 15 or 20 degrees below average once again, and right around freezing in the southern tier. Those temperatures will also be improving over the next couple of days. Just got to get through another chilly winter-like night. Scattered snow showers with 1 to 2 inches in the hills ending after midnight, and then we've got some spring-like weather finally to talk about. I'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, thanks very much. Don't forget, for the latest forecast at any time, you can download our Forewarn weather app right on your phone and your tablet. It has an hour-by-hour forecast, so you can see exactly what's happening in your backyard. You can get it today from any device Apple Store. Well, with prom season approaching, members of local law enforcement are launching their annual campaign to keep our youngest drivers safe out on the roads. They want to make sure that there are no empty seats in classrooms because of drunk or distracted driving. Here's Ali Ingersoll.
New York State Police are engaging in conversations with the youngest drivers heading to high schools during their No Empty Chair campaign.
Ultimately, it's about education. It's about education to keep our young drivers on the roadway safe.
Trooper Jim O'Callahan says police see a spike in collisions in the time between Memorial Day and Labor Day, calling that period the 100 deadliest days of driving. They'll be touching on several topics with young drivers, including speeding in work zones, passing schools, driving while intoxicated, and while distracted. That's currently the leading cause of minor and fatal crashes now. Police are working to reduce the number of incidents, especially with those involving young drivers connected with distracted driving.
That way of thinking with social media, distracted driving, using your phone while driving, that has to sit by the wayside. They need to put that phone down and drive and consider their own life and the lives of others on the roadway.
The New York State Trooper says with prom season approaching and more students receiving their licenses, now is the time to talk with them about the importance of roadway safety.
This is something we want to make sure before they leave school, before they leave college, before any of that takes place, we want to make sure that education is put in their hands and that they have a better understanding of the rules of the road and the dangers that ultimately are out there.
In Buffalo, Ali Ingersoll, News 4.
Happening today at UB, Governor Andrew Cuomo announces a $32 million grant for the university's medical campus. The money will be used to take research done by Kaleida Health, Roswell, and other organizations and put it to practical use for students. We're also told the governor is fielding questions on the ongoing spat with the Seneca Nation and yesterday's executive order that restored voting rights for some 35,000 parolees. Our Jen Shantz is among those reporters asking questions, and she'll be giving us an update coming up on News 4 at 5 o'clock. Well, today we're giving you the chance to help families all across Western New York. We're teaming up with United Way for a community baby shower, which is happening right now at Wegmans in Amherst. Our own Christy Kern is live at the store on Alberta Drive to talk about today's big event. Christy, how are things going there?
Dave, it's so far. This second live drive for the community baby shower just started just a few minutes ago, and we're already seeing a really great response from the community. Again, this is our second drive. The first one was earlier today, and we saw a great response from that. And now we are at the Wegmans on Alberta Drive in Amherst, and this goes from 4 until 7 o'clock. Right now, I want to bring in Katie Busick from the United Way to tell us about the importance of this. Katie, again, this is the second one today. We saw a great response from the first drive this morning, and we are already seeing a response at this location as well.
Yeah, we've seen an extraordinary response at this location already. As you can see behind us, all of this is donated product in the bin. And like I said earlier today, the community really comes out in full force when you ask them, especially for babies. You know, who doesn't want to help out babies?
Tell us, what are the biggest items that you're looking for at this stage? And what do people need to take care of babies, especially as infants?
Right, exactly. Well, the 5 critical items we always ask for during the community baby shower are diapers, wipes, digital thermometers, sleep sacks, and baby board books. And I'm really happy to report that if you look in the bin, you'll see we have plenty of those. But obviously diapers and wipes tend to be the most popular items because they're the most used as well. The mothers go through them the fastest.
Absolutely. Now, we heard yesterday that more than half of babies born in Erie County are born into poverty. That is an incredible statistic to hear. Tell us how this affects families in Western New York and how those can help these babies.
Yeah, well, like you said, nearly half of babies in Erie County, especially in the city of Buffalo, are born into poverty. And unfortunately, that means when the mothers are out shopping for their children, they have to make decisions on what they're buying. So if we're able to give them these baby bundles with these needed and critical items, it's one less thing that they don't need to worry about, and they can really focus on making sure that they're raising a healthy family.
And it seems like it is easy to do, too. There are people all around us right now who are walking by, and it really looks like you can just walk up and put these donations in. Is that how it works?
Yeah, we have a cashier right here ready to check anyone out. There's also signs throughout the store. You can just cash out, bring it over, and we'll take it. But it also goes until May 10th. So if you're not able to get out here today, we're able to take it until May 10th, and we'll make sure it gets into the hands of those who need it the most.
Okay, Katie, thank you. And again, now these items, they do have to be new, but don't worry if you don't have them at home. You can come out to the Wegmans, and you can also pick them up right here and then drop them off. So it is pretty easy to help out in this way. So again, we're hoping you'll stop by. We are here from 4 to 7 o'clock, and we'll check back in with you in just a little bit, Dave.
All right, Christy, thanks very much. Coming up next on News 4 at 4, giving kids a hands-on experience down at City Hall. We'll give you a look at this year's Bring Your Sons and Daughters to Work Day in Buffalo and how the program encourages kids to think outside the box. Plus, the countdown is on for the royal wedding. 1 month from today, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will be walking down the aisle. Coming up, we'll take a look at the security measures that are being rolled out for their big day.
Toyota Highland.